We start?
Yeah,
Talking about our necks?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Ball.
And Cameo Win.
And we're atypical.
Yes, we are.
And we were considering talking about, aging necks.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was even thinking when I was walking over here, maybe like perimenopausal symptoms or
yes, really fun
adult onset acne.
Yeah, it's nice when you have acne and wrinkles at the same time.
These are things we're experts on as well. So if you guys are interested in an adjacent podcast, we know lots of things.
We get our skincare routine out,
brushing your hair once a week. How it works out for you.
Love it.
But yeah, so this is a design podcast. In case you didn't know.
Yes, in case you weren't gathering that by what we were talking about.
So every week I bring up a topic for Cameo to discuss. And this week I wanted to have a conversation about some of your favorite things about the design process. Ooh. And then some of your least favorite things about the design process.
Yes.
And then
wow.
Sort of
go
like
on and on about both of those things.
I know. And then what, for the things that aren't our favorites, like what we do to try to either improve the processes or keep things from happening again, or what do we do to try to mitigate that? Starting with
a great topic.
Yeah. So starting with the good things.
Let's start with the good things.
What are your favorite parts of the design process?
Well, so we kind of break it up, from like the start to finish with clients, and we work in like the concept phase and then the design development phase, construction, install, and kind of like the finishing touches. So I think probably my favorite part is like getting to know the clients and getting to know what makes them feel good in their space, and like how we can provide something for them, like a service, and create cohesion with what they might not necessarily even know that they like. So that like exploratory phase, I feel like is definitely one of my favorites. I think problem solving is one of my favorite things to do when it comes to, thinking through not just from like budgetary issues or like, you're in demo and you take a wall down and you find a surprise, like not really even, that stuff is good too, but more so like the really creative thinking side of things with a client where like, they might have a design problem.
Like a weird alcove or something.
Yeah, or just like, maybe their layout has always been something they've struggled with, and like coming up with a really unique floor plan with using like furniture or texture or color to sort of solve something that they've never been able to solve. So that like really creative thought process of trying to figure out unique issues to me is really exciting. Let's see, what else are the good things? I feel like, the fun stuff, whenever you tell somebody that you're an interior designer, I feel like the reaction is always like, oh, fun.
Yeah.
Which there are fun parts about it, but there's a lot of like stressful, not so fun stuff too. So I think the fun stuff is like picking out fabrics and fun materials and wall covering and like, color schemes, and really bringing all of that stuff to life is obviously a great part of the process.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think for me, it's like probably one of the best parts is getting like free reign to kind of create something that's never been created before. And that's part of like what our design firm is all about, is that we don't just like recreate designs over and over and use the same, I wasn't at a nightclub. I was at Lagoon.
There's such a big party here.
But we like to create something completely new that is unexpected, and working with our clients to, dig deep and see how they live in their space and who's all going to be there, and, how they envision themselves growing and changing and evolving in the space, and putting together combinations that are just straight from your head and really cool. And it's really exciting to see those ideas come to life and collaboration. And you do have to problem solve, and that is part of the fun and creative part of it, as well as working with the builder and making sure things are actually possible, and is the cost in line with the budget, and is the timeline gonna work for everything. And so like making sure that, you kind of have to plan all of that in your head ahead of time before you even start. Like these are all the things that you have to be working on. And so that to me is super exciting, and getting to, it's like you're actually using your brain, like exercising your brain in a really
in a more creative
way.
capacity, and kind of beyond just the like putting pretty colors together. So I think that's a really great part.
It's almost like Tetrising an entire project, like and like the way it looks is only like a quarter of it.
And I think we try to find clients who want us to think outside of the box and don't want us to just churn out like the same thing over and over again. And so every single project is fun because it's a new thing, and working with builders, like you said, that like are open to trying something new. There's, a lot of knowledge that we have from a construction side, and so we know like what's feasible and what isn't. But then when you're coming up with something that's you've never done before, there's a level of coordination of being like, okay, how do we figure this out? Can we do it? And I just love that process.
Yeah, I know, it's super fun. And like pushing the boundaries a little bit here. Utah's not like super ahead of the curve when it comes to design in general. And so I think we really like to be like, we want to put Utah on the map as like a really cool place that design is coming out of. And we're kind of weird because we're like this melting pot. We don't really have, there's the style that's like the kind of Park City mountain modern that people might think of, but there's so much more than that. And
modern farmhouse.
Yeah. And Utah's not that old as far as like architecturally. So we do have like some older buildings, but it's not like a New York or a Milan or a Paris or something with this amazing like historic architecture that you can work with. So that's another part of it too, is it is a lot of like bungalows and early 20th century 1920s style homes, and some of them are really cool and some of them are just like a regular old house. And so that, as far as like having a distinct style, I don't think Utah is quite there yet, but it would be really cool for us to kind of push that narrative that there's really fun, unique design coming out of Utah.
I think so.
And livable too. Like that's the key too, is it needs to be really functional and livable for people.
And bringing people's space to life in, the way that they want it to come to fruition, and not just necessarily like pushing our agenda. I think that that's a really important part, and something that we love too. Yeah,
for sure.
But I think as far as the parts that I don't like,
let's get into it. The dirty little secrets of the design world.
Yeah. Gosh, that's the fun part of being put on the spot. I think bringing the right team together is always really important. And so I feel like when that doesn't go well, that's probably the hardest part about being a designer, because it takes a good builder, it takes a good client, it takes a good architect, and everybody really has to like be in sync. So when that doesn't happen, when you have people that kind of go outside of their lanes, a little bit, like I don't try to step on the toes of a builder and tell them like how they need to do things, and so kind of expect that same sort of respect in return. So I think that's the hardest part, is when you don't really have that like golden team, or people aren't willing to understand the process, and like think things need to go faster than they really go, or that you can do, really crazy, unique designs with no budget. Like that's the kind of stuff that's hard, is unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think one of the hardest things as a designer is making sure you're setting expectations out the gate and having very difficult conversations. Like, I think that's something that we've learned and honed and refined over the years, where, sometimes it's hard and it's scary to have those conversations, so you just kind of avoid them, and maybe that's something that we would have done in the past. But we've seen like how destructive that can be, and it really ruins relationships, and it really breaks trust between all parties involved. So now it's like, okay, everybody has a budget. Don't tell me there's no budget, because we know there is one. Like, what is it?
Even if it's a really big one.
Yeah.
Like, there's always
always a threshold with which people are like, I do not feel comfortable. Like, why did you push me this far? And so instead of getting to that point, it's like, okay, let's get very clear about expectations. This is what our role is. This is what the architect's role is. This is what the builder's role is. This is how we all work together. This is where there might be some overlap. Because that's always going to happen, and assembling the right team, because it can be so uncomfortable when you get down the road in a project, especially sometimes we're brought on like
too late in the game.
Partially, like the project's already started, it's already rolling, we're playing catch up, we're always going to be disappointing people, we're always going to be behind the gun when it comes to like deliverables, because we're just playing catch up the whole time. And that's where it's really hard, and you can't be like enjoying that creative process, because you're just trying to like get out information as quickly as possible. So make sure if you're hiring a designer, bring them on at the very beginning before you do anything else.
Yes. The same time as you have an architect, and you're like, before you're even, subbing for permits. I mean, the very beginning.
Initial phase, like, it's really important that we're involved in the beginning. I think another tough part, besides those like hard conversations in the beginning, is there's always these like hard points in the project that are like where the client is so over it, and the client is like, I just want this to be done. And it happens on every project, like even when things are running really smoothly there's always
problems. Like, it doesn't matter how well you've managed the project or how well you've prepared.
There's always issues, like something that you've been waiting for arrives broken, and you're like, this is going to hold up the entire project that you couldn't have planned for, right? There's no way. And so it's like everybody's frustrated, they're ready to be done, they're over it, like everybody wants to get out of there, and it's like, sorry, we still have to like solve this, and we're gonna get through it, and we're really, we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure it happens. But
there's a lot of like money that gets dished out in the first half of a project without seeing results. So there's just inevitably, people get tired. I mean, projects can last anywhere from, depending on the scale, 6 months to 5 years. And so that's a long time to have to
just keep paying bills.
Without seeing a final product. So, but those issues, that is definitely, one of the hardest things, is like, there's just things that are out of our control.
We wish we could control everything. It would be so much better. If we were
I try. I'm kind of a control freak.
But there's always those things that are just so frustrating that we don't. I've even had, and this is like one of my like really rough design moments, is, a house was done. It was going to be in the Parade of Homes. We were installing, and the mover dropped the like super, super expensive custom one-of-a-kind sofa that had an insane lead time. I mean, it took months and months and months for this to get made, and on install they dropped it and broke it, and it's like, you can't, like, what do you do? So,
and I mean, shout out to movers, because that is a hard job. I mean, it's like, sometimes you're just really tired and your hand slips, and it's like,
and that's why they have insurance.
But you still have to deal with that.
And
what do you do?
Then the client's like stressed out because what's going to happen? And then we are having to deal with it on our end, and you just have to like make it work. And so those are the things, I think, those like little stressors that pop up when things are just like, when you're like, yes, it's good, we figured everything out, we've got it, we've got it dialed, it's running smoothly, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Just
We're
kidding.
just gonna like
here's this little
mess it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of, you know, we both have 15 plus years of experience each, and so you start to see things, and then you start to get less, like, it's less catastrophic.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I've seen this before, or like, we're gonna deal with it, it sucks, but we're gonna make it through.
Yeah, there was definitely time in my career in the beginning where I just would have like crippling anxiety because there was stuff that's out of our control that I felt like,
It's
oh,
your fault.
like I shouldn't have let that happen. And ultimately, I think something that we really try to do with our clients is like alleviate that stress for them so that they don't have to deal with those things because they're inevitable, and we deal with them.
The amount of things that happen that clients never know about is crazy. Like we try to like hide from them because we don't want them to worry about it, and we know that like we're working on a solution.
Yeah, and not from like a, you know, not being truthful kind of perspective, but from a service oriented perspective, that's like, you're paying us to help you with this, and we don't want you to have to deal
you don't
with
want to know
stress.
about every single little problem that comes up, because you would be in a mental institution if you knew.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, being an interior designer is great, and like I love this career. It's definitely hard. I mean, you know, just a really basic human error could be a $20,000 mistake.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, it's high dollars. It's high stress, but it's all worth it.
Yeah.
When your client walks into their space and they love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, you know, what we do. We try to like learn from issues that have happened in the past. We've tried to put processes in place to avoid as many as possible. There's always going to be there's always going to be stuff out of your control. And that's, hopefully it's kind of like, you know, having a baby. Like after you have your baby, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Look at this beautiful baby I have. Like with your house. Until
you forget the difficult
until you do another remodel and you're like, oh my God, why did I do this?
Yeah, it's like you kind of time heals all, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Or takes away memory, I guess. Yeah, like you kind of get to the point where you're like, actually, that wasn't
I can
so
do
bad.
it again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Except for us, because we have one kid and we were done.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I remember it all.
We remember it all.
Love the guy. Love him.
They're great. They're the best.
Yeah. A lot of work.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is our I think that's great. We did it.
We did great. We did great. We're doing great.
We're doing so good. Let us know if you need help with your project.
Yeah.
We'll take the stress off your plate.
Yeah, or if you have questions or topics we should you want to hear us talk about, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, bye.
Bye.